there were a lot of boundaries. There were a lot of challenges and sort of tests, like marker points of how deep did I really want to go into this practice.
Phalguni Radhika was born Felicity Janine in a traditional Native American home where she practiced Native culture and spirituality. But, partially due to the devastation of colonialism, Felicity felt a lot of gaps within the culture, and something was missing from her spiritual life. After exploring everything from Christianity and Islam to yoga and energy healing, she finally found the best spiritual practice for her as a Hare Krishna devotee.
So at this yoga fest, I was supposed to be doing this dance meditation technique. Instead of doing that, I met the Hare Krishnas, and they were also there at this festival, and they were chanting, and it was really overwhelming. I was so intrigued by it because it was so beautiful and intense, and it was the same, 3 words, and still it was just so penetrating. And every day for 3 days I would sit and listen to them for an hour, and I would find myself crying, and I couldn't figure out why. And it just really struck an emotional chord for me. And then it finally came to questions of God, and I hated the word God. I just really didn't like it. And so then when there was this introduction of Krishna, and Krishna is the one who's all attractive, and he's very beautiful, and he has a very beautiful female counterpart. And between the two of them, then there's the highest exchange of loving expression. I fell in love. I was like, this is something that I could really be a part of. This is something that really touches my heart, that there could be a loving God who isn't like any of the conceptions that I've ever heard of God before. Actually, there could be something much more. I also had this whole expectation of how my life was going to be laid out. And it all just sort of crumbled when I decided that spiritual life was more important. And it came with overcoming a lot of boundaries that I struggled with. How much of this do I really want? And then, it sort of levels out after a while, and it kind of calms down, and then you reach a whole other set of boundaries that are a little more subtle and a little more internal. And then it just keeps working that way until finally you're at a point where you're actually a spiritual person and pure, instead of somewhere in between trying to figure things out, which is kind of where I'm at right now. It's intense. And anybody who's really making a large transition will have to go through that. It's the way that it goes. Just like, shedding of skin. Sometimes it's not very comfortable, but at the end of it, you're like, oh wow, it's really smooth, it's really nice.